Fort Canning Hill is one of Singapore's historical landmarks. Do you know it is known as the Forbidden Hill in Malay? It is located just beside the shopping belt of Orchard, and behind the hill lies the National Museum of Singapore. Hi guys, right now we are at the foot of Fort Canning. So this is Fort Canning at a glance. Fort Canning is probably around 18 hectares in total area and 60 meters height. So what do we have here? Over here, Fort Canning is a venue in Singapore to view performance, classical music, events, stuff like that. So do you know that Singapore is actually one of the first area that Raffles actually established as a trading venue? And it is here at Fort Canning where Raffles established his first botanical garden to stimulate agriculture in Singapore. So if you want to have more info in Fort Canning Hill, you can actually zoom in on this app here. You can able to download this app and you're able to have a virtual tour at Fort Canning Hill. Oh guys, there's a water garden right here in Fort Canning. It's a representation of the Forbidden Spring back then, those times. So in the 14th century, Singapore was actually associated with natural spring all around Singapore. And spring water was used in ceremonial events, just like what you saw in Bali, temples using spring water to cleanse themselves first before they enter the temple compound. So right now, let's go and explore what Fort Canning offers. Right now we are here. Just now we passed by the fort gate. So that's the only remaining fort that is right now in Singapore. And you can just imagine in the past, the whole of Singapore, the hill itself is surrounded by the fort. And from here, you can walk to the guard room, the hospital just nearby here. And if you walk further down, you can see the Karamat Iskandar Shah. That is actually the last Sultan of Singapore and the first Sultan of Malacca, and is known as the final resting place. But whether it's the remains over there, it still remains a mystery until now. Right now we are at Karamat Iskandar Shah. So Iskandar Shah is actually known as one of the last king in Singapore. In fact, he was actually ruling Singapore during the 14th century, as you can see here. There was record that he actually died around 1420, but there were no sources given his place of death, so people do not know whether was he, where was his final buried ground, be it in Singapore or is it in Malacca. So right now we have here is just a replica of his tombstone over here. So when the British occupied Singapore, Malay residents refused to ascend to this hill. This was due to the belief that the palace of their kings were once stood here. So let's check it out, the tombstone. So guys, this is the battle box. So what do we have the battle box inside here? Is actually the decision to surrender by the Japanese to Singapore was made on 19 February 1942. Alright, so this is the place where they actually made the decision to finally surrender to Singapore.